What's going on, Flyers fans? Welcome into episode 9 of Broad Street Broadcast. I'm your host, Travis Ballinghoff, here with Kevin Beatty. Kevin, how was your holiday weekend?
I am in 8 kinds of pain right now. I was on a boat, didn't put on enough sunscreen, and I am in a lot of pain. It
Looking
is,
like Larry the
yeah,
Lobster over there.
yeah. It's that pasty ass Irish skin that I got. Doesn't do well for me. So, but
I'm
no, it
like
was a
that
fun.
too.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend. How about you? How was yours?
Pretty boring.
Pretty boring.
Well, you know what? Got into two car accidents on Saturday. Neither were
I
my
did.
fault. Was not
Thank
fault
God.
at either.
Thank God you're okay. First off.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then Sunday, I'm on phone with the insurance company the whole day for like well, I shouldn't say the whole day, but for a good 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then Monday, Colorado just went up 2-1.
Yeah, I just
And
saw
then
that. Yeah.
Monday I just relaxed. Yesterday was a chill day, nothing too crazy.
Good. It was an eventful weekend if you're like a big entertainment guy like I am. You had Top Gun Maverick come out on Friday. You also had the new season of Stranger Things and the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I've already gone through all of them. So
Wow.
Well, sorry. So I went with my buddies Thursday night to go see Top Gun. We were all dressed. We were all decked out in our flight suits and aviators. So we had it was a good time there. And then I went to a friend's house, started Stranger Things. Went through like 3 episodes, came home, watched another episode and a half. And then my one buddy came home from the Marines, and he was later getting back than he thought. So I ended up getting hooked and finishing Stranger Things. And
Oh
then
wow.
I finished Obi-Wan Kenobi on Sunday. So
Jam packed, man.
jam
Not too
packed. Oh,
bad.
dude, I waited like 3 years for Stranger Things, and now I gotta wait another month for the rest of it. So love it.
Well, let's jump into some Flyers news. Still looking for a coach.
Yep.
They have interviewed Barry Trotz. They have interviewed John Tortorella. And they've interviewed Pittsburgh assistant Mike Vellucci. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
I didn't even know who it was, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna
Neither of
lie.
us.
All right, cool. All right, so I don't feel as bad.
And then they're planning to interview, confirmed, Kirk Mueller, Jim Montgomery, and Rick Tocchet. Obviously, more names might circulate, or maybe there's some that haven't been reported yet. But overall thoughts on some guys we have interviewed so far?
I mean, I know everybody wants Trotz, excuse me. As much as I would love Trotz, there's absolutely no reason for him to come here. I think it's probably going to be Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be shocked at this point if it isn't. That's what I'm hearing. He's from there, so it kind of makes sense. He wants to go home. I personally, it's a really short move from New York Islanders to Philly. It's only a couple hour drive. So I got to make that sail wherever I can. But I don't think Torts is the right fit here. I think he would get a lot out of the players. But like if I'm going like my own personal, like if I was GM. And you take Torts, then you're kind of shoehorning yourself into that, like, all right, win now again mentality, and I don't want that right now. I want to do a rebuild, and I just don't think Torts is the guy for that. My most likely candidate is probably Jim Montgomery. That's probably the one I'm most comfortable with because it's kind of like, hey, maybe he's good, maybe he's bad. I have no idea about the Pittsburgh guy, so don't really want to go with a guy I have no idea about. And he's only been an assistant. I don't think he's been a head coach, at least not in this league.
So I did some research on this guy. He was the head coach of the Hurricanes AHL team for 2 years. He did win a Calder down there. They were the best team in the league both years, point-wise. And then he was also the GM of that team. And then he moved on to Pittsburgh to be their head coach in the AHL. And then the next season, they bumped him up to assistant. And that's what he was last year. I'm kind of intrigued, to be honest. I don't know anything about him besides what I just told you, but
I mean,
maybe he's good with the young guys and developing. Maybe.
You know what? I am at this point. What can it hurt? What we've been doing hasn't really been working out. But it's you say, oh, maybe he's good with the young guys. That's what we were promised with Hack. So like that's my worry is the guys that's supposed to be good with the young players are the ones that hate them and never play them. So Hack has ruined me. So we'll
Right.
at this point, I'm not expecting much out of the next couple seasons. If whoever we get is who we get. I'm not, unless we actually are able to somehow like hypnotize Trotz into being like, hey, Philly's great, and he comes here, then I'm not really looking for much out of the coach.
Yeah, like going to Torts, like I could get on board with Tortorella if we've been a top team the last couple of years and we couldn't get the job done. So then we made a switch and like he's in the win a cup.
Yeah.
I think we're far away from that.
Trotz,
I like Trotz. That's who I want.
Yeah.
Like you said, does it happen? I mean, they are going to write whoever it is. They're going to pay him whatever he wants. So
yeah.
And you know what? He knows the division, right? Maybe he wants to take on the challenge, like the girlfriend who thinks she can fix her boyfriend, something like that. Like maybe that's a shot.
You don't have to sell me on Trotz. I want Trotz. It's just I am very cynical. I don't think it's going to happen, so I don't want to get my hopes up.
Another thing with John Tortorella. So Ant Sanfilippo hinted that they actually asked Torts if he'd be willing to come here as an assistant.
Really? Okay, I missed that one.
That sounds pretty disrespectful.
It really is. Yeah.
To say, like.
Okay, all right. Well, whatever shot we might have had with him, I think is out the window now.
He probably left that interview pissed off.
He
like
probably
that's something you ask like after you hire Trotz, right? Like.
Yeah.
Then you call back, hey, like, all right, we just hired Barry. Would you want to come in as an assistant? But like,
yeah, honestly, I very much would be shocked if he didn't get up and leave right at that question.
Right.
I would have been. I would be amazed if he actually finished that interview. But yeah, you know what? Like it kind of the same. Yeah. No, I guess I don't have to worry about him anymore. But
what about Kirk Mueller? Any interest there?
I'm not too familiar with him. Name sounds familiar, but I'm not like he's not like on my radar. Like I going into the offseason, the guy I was like, all right, like it's probably him is Jim Montgomery. Like that was kind of like he's not the exciting guy. He's not like the overall terrible coach. He's just kind of like right in that middle. And I guess that's just the mediocrity that, I'm sorry. Edmonton tied it up, and then Colorado already pulled ahead. Holy hell! But yeah, so Montgomery is the guy I'm kind of, I don't want to say banking on. It's just who I think it's going to be. And I've been wrong before. My picks for this playoffs have proven that. So who knows? But I think it's probably Montgomery, so I don't know too much about Mueller. Not saying
so
Muller's
been an assistant with Montreal for a couple years. He took over for
was it Julian?
Yep, Claude Julien in the bubble when he had the health issues.
That's it.
And then they moved him back to assistant. He's had some coaching interviews the last 2 years. Wasn't able to pull anything out from that. Like you said, Montgomery, I've heard a lot.
Yeah.
Montgomery's been the guy for a couple of months now. I'm not opposed to that. My thing with that is, so he was the head coach of the Stars for a while.
Yeah.
And they had some pretty good regular seasons. Some good regular seasons, I should say. I always compared them to kind of like us for like them Hackstall years. Like
that's fair.
They'd be a wild card team the one year, then the next year they'd miss by a couple points, and then the next year wild card team. Like they were always just kind of. I always kind of compared them to like the Western Conference Flyers. I'm not sure if that's his fault. I wasn't watching many Stars games.
It's fair. I
Um,
mean,
he
I
did
don't.
play for the Flyers. I mean,
Yeah,
I know that's kind of like a lot of Flyers fans want to go away from that. And I was kind of on board with that for a long time as well. But seeing like how far we've gotten away from the Ed Snyder culture, I kind
yeah,
of think bringing a former Flyer back in here is the move. That's why I really want Talk, but I was
that's
told
fair.
Talk didn't want to come here if Chuck and Dave were still here. I heard that twice.
That's fair. I so I don't necessarily think that bringing in a Flyer, like a former Flyer, as a coach, is going to like. I mean, maybe it'd be like a band aid, but like I don't think it's going to really fix any of the issues in terms of a culture. Um, I think what you need more, like, I think you need more personality change to kind of like affect the culture, which is also kind of like another reason I was against Torts, because like him and AV were kind of like a hard ass, and like not that I'm saying that like that's a bad thing, but you also like you saw how badly the team kind of revolted, I guess, to someone like that. So that's kind of my worry to bringing in somebody, um, like Torts.
I
Um,
agree with that.
yeah. So like, and not to say like Montgomery, like I think he's got his moments with that kind of stuff, but he's not to the level of Torts or AV. So I wasn't like I knew he was a former Flyer, obviously, but like that wasn't my reasoning, I guess. Not to say it would hurt or help either way. I think if you really want, like, if you really do want to go that avenue of doing like a former player, I think you make Chemo an assistant if he's willing.
Huh.
Because like that seems like the kind of personality that they need, like kind of like an Ian LePerriere, but like someone who was actually good at hockey when he played. So like, kind of go that avenue. But that I also like I have an undying love for Chemo, so like maybe that's just me. But um, you know, Chemo,
Going back to Lappy, it is kind of weird how great of a penalty killer he was, but how bad of a penalty kill coach he was. That was
honestly, and like it's, I like Larry. He seems like a really nice guy. I know the team loves him, but like everything he was in charge of just like never went well.
sucked.
Yeah, so like he was in charge of development for a while, then he was an assistant coach and in charge of the penalty kill, and then he just kind of like was there. I don't really know what his role was
Pretty
that.
much, yeah.
I think it was a video coach or something like that, and like
The eye in the sky, and then he'd come
that's what
down to
it
the
was.
bench for
Yeah,
the third period.
yeah. So yeah, it's kind of what did he really bring to the table? And then he was the head coach for the Phantoms this year, and they sucked. So
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with bringing back alumni. Like I said, I love Chemo. I'd love to see him back in some kind of capacity, but I think you need to try and do something, try and switch something up, get some kind of personnel shift, because for sure it's not going to be the front office. So
Yeah.
try something different.
That's like kind of what you said. That's why I really want Talk. Like, if we are bringing in an old player, like, he knows what it takes to succeed in
Yeah.
this city. He knows what the fans want. He knows how to succeed here. Like,
If you can convince Talk to get here, you won back the grace of most fans, I think.
yeah, yep.
And if that's the avenue that they're looking to go, then great. But again, you have to get him here. And from what it sounds like, he doesn't want to come here. And like honestly, I don't blame him. Why would you come and coach a bottom of the barrel team again when you could just sit on TNT and analyze games for like $2 million a year? Like,
I think he
I,
might end up getting a Stars job. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, hey man, I'm not gonna. Hey, it's better than the Flyers, so I can't say I blame him. And like I said,
Anybody? Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was going to ask anybody who's like not being reported that you're interested in, whether that's Maurice, Julian, a younger guy.
I would love Claude Julien, but like again, um, you if you get Julian, then you're kind of gearing up for that. Hey, we're going to try and win again. Like, which means, Chuck has to do a complete overhaul of the roster, and then who knows how that's going to go.
Right.
So, and again,
I think that's going to end up happening anyway, though.
I think it's going to. But like I say, if I'm GM, I'd probably just go with the cheapest guy, tank, and stockpile picks. But Comcast isn't paying me to be the GM, so what do I know? So if I'm going that route, I would Julian would probably be my first call. And then sure, if you wanted to try that avenue, you try Torts again, and don't tell him that you're going to make him an assistant.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't off the top of my head, there's not really a name. Trotz is the number one guy I want, but he's not coming here. There's no way.
I'm still holding out hope.
I'd be interested to see what the Pittsburgh. I forget his name again, but the Pittsburgh guy, Bellucci. I'd be interested to see what he brought to the table. I'd give him a shot.
Yeah, especially we want them to rebuild. They're not going to, but
exactly, yeah. So
if we were rebuilding, that's who I'd want.
Yeah, I you know what? He's decent. You know what? He's like I said, we've been trying all these things. AV didn't work out. So maybe try and do a change of pace. Try somebody new. You recycle the old coaches, for so long, and everyone kind of figures out their game plan after a while. So, try somebody new.
So a report came out today, and I'm going to read it. This is from a Russian outlet. When it's translated, they're called Sports Express. And the reporter's name is Ivan Bogun. And he has reported that the Flyers and the Montreal Canadiens, they aren't going to pick any Russian players in this upcoming draft. It sounds like due to this Ukraine war stuff. Initial thoughts when you heard that?
It is a shame because I think there's a lot of talent coming out of Russia. But I know that Fedotov, him coming over was a big concern for them after they signed him. So I get it, and then there's also the image thing. Not to say that anybody, in there would really cause an issue with that. But you just know how the public can get, Flyers are bringing in a Russian guy. Oh, look out for Ukraine, So I get it. It's a shame because I think there's a lot of talent. From what I've looked at, there's some talented guys coming out this year. But like I said, if you're worried about him coming over, then what's the point? Might as well take a guy that you don't have to worry about bringing over when, there's plenty of guys, available to you here in North America or Sweden or wherever it is.
Could you imagine if we get the number 2 pick next year and then they don't draft Michkov?
Yeah. You know what?
It's this Mike Ricci over Yager thing.
It's this team, so yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I'm not really on board with it because you know what? Whoever we draft might not even come over in 3 years. It may take 3 years to get them over here anyway.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I get the thought process. I think the report sounds worse than it actually is. Flyers are, boycotting the Russians, and when in reality, you still have guys like Provorov. You just signed Fedotov. You have a bunch of Russians on this team, and they're for the most part, they're pretty solid players. But why take that risk again if you aren't if you're not 100% sure that you can get them over here? There's no point at that. Why even that? Any draft pick is kind of like a lottery ticket.
Yeah,
Nolan Patrick is a shining example of that. And he didn't pan out. That's a failed lottery ticket.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you take a lottery ticket that you has even less chance of hitting when there's a lottery ticket there that's got probably about the same chance of him panning out as a player, but he'll be able to be here rather than like worry like, oh God, like is he even going to be able to play in North America?
Mm-hmm.
So I totally get it. I think it sounds worse than it actually is.
I'm sure Ed Snyder's smiling in his grave.
I'm sure he is.
He wasn't a big fan of the Russians.
No. I was trying to look. I was trying to look up because I know you sent it to me, but I couldn't find it on Twitter anywhere. I was trying to look it up. I was looking up Philadelphia Flyers, Russia players, 2022, and everything I was seeing was just coming up as like the game from the 70s where they beat the Red. I was like, that's not 2022. What the hell?
Right.
So yeah, not great, but that's very. Props to you for finding that because I couldn't find that anywhere.
Have you been watching a lot of the playoffs? Any thoughts on the previous round 2 we just got done with?
I have been not the last couple of games because I said I've been very busy with Top Gun and Stranger Things and all these other things. But from what I've been I have been watching as much as I can. Colorado, I still think is a powerhouse. I still think they're gonna. The only reason I see Colorado losing this round is if McDavid just says, "Hop on my back, boys! Like I'm taking us to the promised land." Like, and that's it. Like, I don't have any faith in Edmonton's goaltending. Besides Darnell Nurse, I don't like their defensive core. And other than Draisaitl and Evander Kane, who I hate, but he's having a really good playoffs, I don't trust that team. That's not a good team. But you have Connor McDavid. And it's nice. He's finally starting to show his dominant side in the playoffs, which he hasn't been able to do yet. And, now, like you said, now you get to see it. I was very disappointed in Calgary's performance in the last round. I was expecting
that was pathetic.
I was expecting that to be a hard-fought battle, and it was not.
It was almost like the Flames wanted to play pond hockey, and like the Oilers are the last team you want to play pond hockey with.
Yeah, and they're just way too talented to do that. Like, I don't understand why they took that approach. I don't know if they were trying to play more reserved because McDavid was on the ice. I got nothing. They looked great in the round before that. I don't know what changed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe some guys are hurt, and they were trying to play through it. We've seen that be an issue a while. It makes no sense to me, without knowing like the factors behind it. Yeah, still pissed about Florida.
I mean that seems like forever ago, but
it does. I forgot because we didn't. Yeah, I was living in a hotel last week because my whole family had COVID, so we didn't get to talk last week. But yeah, man, Giroux losing to God, that was like heart wrenching because like they got swept, and it wasn't even close. I don't know what happened. I think. What do you think? I personally think it was just lack of playoff experience. I think
that could be it.
I think that was a big part of it.
I thought they played like crap games 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Game 3, Vasilevsky stole, and kind of the same story for Game 4. I didn't think they looked as good in Game 4 as they did Game 3.
I agree.
But Vasilevsky played his ass off. Like you weren't scoring on him.
No.
It could be lack of playoff experience.
Because you look at their roster, and the only guys that have been past the second round, unless I'm like forgetting somebody, is G and Thornton. Unless
and Hornqvist,
and Hornqvist. Okay, I forgot Hornqvist. Yeah,
Sherratt as well, but he really struggled.
I don't know. Like it's just not enough. Like it.
Mm-hmm.
Thornton's old as hell. I love Joe
Thornton.
One game. It broke my heart that he wasn't able to finally get his cup. I've been pulling for him I wanted the Flyers to trade for him when they were doing well with AV. I was really disappointed. Oh, wow. I thought I would have rather had him over Nate Thompson. I thought he would have been a good fourth line center. And then Hornqvist, yeah. But, he's also playing with Crosby and Malkin and again, the players a lot more talented than him. So, And then G hasn't done it since 2010. Or, well, sorry, hasn't done it since the bubble playoffs, but like hasn't had any real kind of playoff success since 2010.
Okay.
So I think that was a big part of it. Like a lot of their core really hasn't had any
They
kind of
struggled,
playoff.
man.
They really haven't had any kind of playoff success.
Like even round one, like Barkov
Yeah.
put up points, but I didn't love the way he was playing.
No, I agree.
Huberdeau went cold. Duclair even got scratched a couple games.
Huberdeau was like missing in action like completely.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't even like it's not even funny. And like I said, you lose like all of your core. I thought Uyghur played pretty good, but other than that, I really didn't like G Uyghur. Barkov was, like you said, he was kind of hit or miss. And I really like Bennett. I thought Bennett had a good
I wish
playoffs.
The Flyers would have traded for him when he was available.
Too. Oh my God, me too.
He would have been a perfect fit here.
But like, other than that, I wasn't really crazy about anybody's game. I just thought Bennett played with a great edge. He just kind of was struggling to put up, any kind of stats. But
Bob was probably their best player, to be honest.
Yeah, and like but even then he struggled too. He had a couple of games where like it's.
I didn't think so. I thought Bob played well. He didn't go toe to toe with Vasilevsky.
No, but like you're not going to. I think it was in the first. There was one game where I was like, "Oh, he's kind of." He just looked a little
shaky, fighting it,
like uneven, like Yeah, I don't know how to put it. Like shaky is a good way, but like not what I was looking for. But yeah, yeah. Other than that, like I think lack of playoff experience played a big role because like you were also going up against Tampa, who's going for a three-peat. So you got guys that literally like have been seasoned for this the last couple seasons, and then you got a bunch of guys who've like I don't think made it past like game 6 of the first round. Like it's hard. It's really hard.
It's even harder when you go to the strip club the night before an elimination game, and I don't know if that was the right move.
It probably wasn't, but you know what?
Sure did you see how crazy Flyers Twitter was games 3 and 4 about Giroux?
I did. You know what? Like, I didn't put anything on Twitter, but I can't say I was any better. I was very upset that I went through that trauma of watching him leave, and
like game 3, you got a couple guys saying, Giroux should have chose Colorado. He's an idiot, Yeah, but he was just trying to stick it to Chuck. And game 4, everyone's like, oh my God, Claude Giroux played his ass off. Everyone let him down. Like, to be honest, I didn't think G had a good round too. Like, I love G, but
first round he was incredible. Yeah. I thought he was pretty good in games 1 and 2 compared to the rest of the team. I thought he was pretty good.
Okay, I'm like, the whole team played bad. Claude Giroux didn't play well. Both things can be true here.
No, yeah, for sure, yeah. But yeah, the whole him trying to stick at the Chuck thing, that's so
no
stupid.
shot.
No, literally. All right, so Colorado it's 2 time zones away from his wife and 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, when he was getting traded, it was still pretty damn cold. Like, why would you do that when you can go down to sunny Florida where it's at least 70 all the time?
And they led the league in points.
He had a bunch of people he knew from the team. Robert Hagg got traded there. Gudis was there. Bob was there. And also, apparently the strip clubs are really nice. Apparently, you go there right before the game. Yeah. So
I can almost I'd bet a lot of money he was nowhere near that strip club.
I was just kidding.
No, I know.
But yeah, no, I'm sure like it was closer to home. It was nicer weather and a damn good team. Like I was sold on I had money on the Panthers to win the cup. I was like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then it didn't. And like, all right, well, you know what? You live and you learn. I think they're going to come back strong next year. What do you think the chances are he resigns in Florida?
I don't see it.
Really?
I don't know how they afford it unless they somehow get that Bob contract off the books, which I don't see happening unless you know what, they do something crazy with Montreal and get Price Bob swapped. Montreal eats money. They trade a bunch of minor league, like something crazy like that. I know that'd be wild.
Could you imagine? Holy shit!
Other than that, I can't see Bob moving. Barkov gets a huge pay raise in a year. So does Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe went quiet series 2 as well.
He did. You're right. No, he went quiet. I really kind of didn't notice him the whole playoffs. I didn't really notice him in the first round.
Round 1, he went nuts. He was the best player on the ice round 1, and then he got like a leg injury or something. And
okay, all right.
He went cold. And then Huberdeau gets a raise soon. Like, unless G signs for 1 year, I don't think he's back.
I could see that. I could see a 1 year, like he takes a 1 year cheap deal to try and win a cup.
I don't know if he's at that point yet. I think wherever he goes, 3-4 years. I really hope it's not Ottawa.
I'll be shut. I will. No, Then I will join in on the. Yeah,
I'm in that same boat to an extent. Like, there's a lot of people who saying he doesn't care about winning. I don't agree with that at all.
Me neither.
But if he signs with Ottawa, then it's like,
you guys might have a point there. You might have a point, yeah. Like, I get it. Like, that's where he grew up, or like you're close to that area. But like, if you pick that over like literally any other team, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, like you said,
Boston still needs help. Like, that's close to Philly. Like,
he could make a difference in Boston.
Especially if Bergeron leaves.
Him and Pasta would be so nasty.
You're right. I don't know. Maybe New York.
Oh my god, Flyers fans would go livid if he went to.
I would hate that. Maybe Pitt. Ron Hextall brings him in.
Oh, Jesus. Oh yeah. He's gonna go back and hang out with Ron. God. I
think he liked Hexy. I think they all got along pretty well.
I couldn't tell you. You know more than me. I personally I could see it. You know, I know Florida was the only place he was willing to go. I could absolutely see him re-signing there.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm trying to think. Like, maybe is there like an up and coming team that maybe I'm
Detroit?
Ooh. I could see him going to Detroit.
That'd be weird.
It would be really weird. But like, they are up and coming. They got a lot of talent, and get him a good deal. And he's not
Columbus,
too far from.
Go play back with Jakey and Patty Line.
That's another one. I'll freak out if he goes to Columbus. That's such a bad team.
That would actually be wild. Yeah. I don't think they're as bad as a lot of people think.
Not as bad as they used to be, but they're not great either.
Nas just made it 4-2.
I just saw it, but my connection cut out. I was like, damn it.
Are you still completely against bringing Nas in to Philly next year?
I'll give him a lot of credit for kind of taking the abuse he's taken over the last couple games or the last couple weeks or so. But I don't. He's gonna cost so much money, and I don't want to. Because he's not the cleanest player, and I don't want to. If you're gonna pay somebody that money, I want them to play as many games as possible. I don't want him getting scratched.
See,
I'm not suspended.
I'm okay with that because the Flyers are easy to play against. You bring a couple guys in like Nas, like that kind of changes things. I've been saying this for months. I would love Kadri on this team, but not for the cap hit he's going to get.
Yeah, like I said, if you're going to pay somebody that much, we're kind of agreeing but disagreeing. Like we're agreeing, just not for the same reasons. Like we both agree that the cap hit would be insane, especially for like what they want to do. There's no way. I just have different reasons for not wanting that cap hit. Like if you're gonna have that cap hit, I want you in the lineup 82 games a season, if not at least 80. Obviously, it's hockey, shit happens, but if you get injured and get suspended, it's two different reasons. Like, and I can't promise that he won't get suspended at least once.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at, me personally.
All right. What about this round 3? We got Edmonton versus Colorado going on right now. Colorado's up 4-2. And then tomorrow night, or if you listen to this on Wednesday, it'll be tonight. Tampa Bay versus New York. What are we thinking?
It's really hard for me to predict this West Coast series because, like I said, like I was saying earlier, like Colorado is like head and shoulders better than Edmonton, but I can't rule out the fact of like McDavid just being like, I got this.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what he's done so far. And then you've got guys like Evander Kane just like potting goals every shot. Like
Draisaitl 3 points a game.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just, I can't rule it out. Like obviously they're up 4-2 right now, like at the start of the second, but like I don't know. It's really hard. Like I kind of want to go with the juicy pick and say McDavid takes him to the finals. And I would actually kind of like to see that. Mm-hmm. Just solely for the fact that like I want him to be that dominant player and like just kind of like put an end to the, you know, Sid versus McDavid debate. Like this guy's the best in the league. Tampa and New York is interesting because like I mean I kind of said it last, you know, at the start of the last series. Or the last round, you know, like Tampa's been resting for like 9 days.
Yeah.
So like I'm kind of torn on like how I think they're. I mean, but like it's also the team that has won back-to-back cups, so I can't count them out. If Shesterkin keeps playing as well as he thought, oh, Edmonton got another.
Yep. 4-3 Colorado now.
So yeah, man, like this round's hard for me to predict. Because I can kind of see it going anyway. I think the most likely scenario, Tampa is going to beat New York. Most likely scenario. I'll go with the juicy pick. I'll say Edmonton. I'll say Edmonton, Tampa. Edmonton, Tampa.
Okay. Yeah, my buddy texted me a couple hours ago and he said, "What are you thinking in Edmonton?" And I could see it going a million different ways.
Me too. It's really hard to predict.
Like Colorado, like you said, is far better. The far better team. But you know what? Edmonton's hot. McDavid, Draisaitl, even their depth guys like Yamamoto, Bouchard, they're playing really well.
Like the only part of Colorado that I don't have confidence in is the goaltending.
I've always liked Kemper, but he has struggled.
I've never he's had a couple of good stretches that, you know, but like I'm not sold. Not to win. Not to be a winning goalie. But like if you're going up against McDavid, you kind of need that. Because it doesn't matter how good you are, he will make you look, you know, stupid. Just how he moves.
Yeah.
So I don't. At some point, you have to have sturdy goaltending, and I just don't have confidence in that. And like I said, McDavid is the best player in the world. So like I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go them.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Colorado sweep. I could see Edmonton in 7. I could see Colorado in 7. Like I could see this a million different ways.
I can see it going anyway. I'm going with my gut because I've been wrong so much in these playoffs. So what the hell, you know? What's one more? I'm going Edmonton in 7.
I think I'm going to go Colorado in 7.
All right. And then,
I don't trust Mike Smith either.
That's a valid point. That is a valid point. I cannot disagree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean they almost had Markstrom and then they tore him up last round and they tried getting Fleury, couldn't get it done. Like I don't know. It seems like even the front office doesn't have a ton of faith in Mike Smith.
I mean, dude, honestly, like he should not be playing. Like he is so goddamn old. Like there's no reason.
I mean,
Like
I think 5-3. Holy hell, this is a barn burner.
Oh God! You know what? Of course, yeah. You know what? Sure, whatever. I've already made my pick. Edmonton's gonna come back. It's fine.
What do you got in the East Coast?
Here you go, Tampa in 6.
I think I'm gonna go Tampa in 5. I'm still.
So I'm higher on the I've said it multiple. I'm higher on the Rangers than you are, and I think they're pretty hot right now. So, and Shesterkin has really turned it on. Like I think 6. I still think Tampa's gonna come away with it just because they have the vet experience. But I think 6. I think 6 is a good number.
I've been wrong. I've been going against New York the whole playoff.
I've been wrong a lot these playoffs, so I don't have the best track record either.
I said early in round 1 that the Rangers are one of the worst playoff teams I've ever seen, and I still believe that. I just going against Louis Domingue and then Ronta and then this Coochie guy that Carolina also has. Like,
they've
had a bit of an easy route here.
But that's like, but again, like, I mean, you say that, but like also like Carolina's a deep team. Like obviously not in goal, but like everywhere else.
But their whole team just went cold. And
I
like,
know,
I'm not even crediting like the Rangers like having good defense because of that. Like, Igor played his ass off, but like
Igor is keeping them in 100%. I'm not denying that. But like
Svechnikov went cold. Like, dude, did you see Aho just like gliding around? Like,
yes,
what are you doing, man?
Speaking of, I saw a tweet that I thought was really funny, because it was the goal that McDavid scored to knock the Calgary out, and it was Gaudreau just skating around right before the goal. Yeah. And it was like, oh, he's gonna fit in really well in Philly. I was like,
I don't think I saw that.
That would hurt if it wasn't like completely true.
Crazy stuff, man.
Also, I'm not going to try and look because I spent so much time last episode looking for a tweet that it took forever to find, but it's there. I promise you. I'm not making it up. But yeah, man, it's going to be an interesting. I'm excited for the finals. I'm excited because I like all the teams that are in right now. You know, there's a factor of every team that I like. Like I said, I'm higher on the Rangers than you are. You know, they're pretty high right now.
You like the Rangers? Is that what you're saying? You're a Rangers fan?
You know what? The only team I hate is Pittsburgh. The only one. It's the only one. I have respect for the Rangers organization, except for when you know things happen. But
so you said you think Tampa and you think Edmonton. Who do you want?
I honestly I don't want to see a three-peat.
Okay.
I think that's boring. I'm fine with them making the finals. I want to see fresh blood winning the cup. You know, so I'm going West Coast. Whoever wins the Western Conference Finals is who I'm rooting for.
Okay. I think I'm rooting for Tampa.
I can't consciously root for the Rangers to win the cup.
Oh hell no.
I would hate myself too much. As much as I respect that team, I cannot. But I don't want to. I don't want. Oh, God, they're really making me look dumb. All right, sure, whatever.
Koskinen's coming in.
Not the first time. Won't be the last. All right. But yeah, man, I really don't want to see. I like seeing new teams. You know, obviously, you know, going back to back is hard. It's difficult. You know. All the props in the world to them. I just don't want to see it again. That's
who I'm rooting for. I like a lot of guys on their team.
It's not that I don't like the guys on their team. It's boring when it's the same. It's just dominant, you know, over those couple of years. You know what I mean? Like it gets some variety in there. Because if you get the same team winning, it's too much like the NBA, and I don't want to see that.
Okay, it's a valid point.
Hmm.
Any final words before we wrap up?
Watch Stranger Things. It's so goddamn good.
Okay. Probably won't, but I'll take your word for it.
You don't watch anything, do you?
Nope.
Oh, God, that pains me. That pains me. I honestly, I don't understand how people can not because I do it all. I watch Shoresy. I did not.
Okay.
I
Neither did
wasn't. I
but I
wasn't.
heard it was good.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Letterkenny, but I watched all like the compilations of Shorzy from Letterkenny, so it does intrigue me because I think Shorzy's funny as shit.
Okay.
But right now, like I said, I have finished. I have caught up with Stranger Things. I am going back and rewatching everything, just because I don't know. I have nothing better to do. So I'm going back and rewatching all of that. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi, the episodes released every Wednesday, so that'll be what I'm doing. And then I think I'm gonna watch Yellowstone. I've heard really good things about that.
Okay.
And my favorite actor is Harrison Ford, and apparently they're doing a prequel series with him and Helen Mirren. So, but yeah, man.
Sounds good.
Also, go see Top Gun. Top Gun was amazing.
That's what I heard. I'm actually kind of intrigued to watch that.
Literally, like I say, like 95% of what they did was practical effects.
Oh wow!
So like, all the actors learned how to fly the F-18s, and like it's all legit. It's all like really close to the ground too. So like any mess up they would have had would have been catastrophic.
Yeah. Wow.
And also like just Tom Cruise is just a madman. So not a big Tom Cruise fan, but like when you cable yourself to the side of an airplane just for one shot, then I kind of have to respect you.
Right.
So, but yeah, man, Top Gun, amazing. Stranger Things, amazing. Obi-Wan Kenobi, yeah, tight. So,
it's a good place to wrap. Hopefully, we have a new coach by the next time we record. Get some.
We
news,
won't,
get
but
some.
Sure, optimism, sure, love it.
Yeah. Well, if you're still watching, please give us a like and subscribe. Helps grow the channel. If you're listening, rate us 5 stars. Helps us grow. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Peace out.
See you.